Hi, team. Welcome to the Escape Podcast for Star Wars: The Old Republic. Coming up, we talk through a refresh. Uh, coming up, coming up,
I'll be quiet.
coming up, we talk about a new feature being added to the game for cartel packs and your stash. But first, a couple bits of news and a shout out to our guild Alea Iacta Est on Jedi Covenant. Our broadcast aspect today is EPC 154. Hey, 154, I got a joke for you. So the Star Wars crawl text walks into a bar. The bartender says, "Hey, get out of my bar. We don't serve your type in here." I'm pressing all the wrong buttons. But typography jokes are awesome regardless. With me as always is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
It's going great. I spent the last week playing with my DVL characters as well as doing some ops and stuff. Um, I have my one Marauder who's level 65 already, but wanted to do Shadow of Revan on him, which I've almost finished with. I got a teensy bit of Yavin 4 yet to go. Um, oh yeah, and I have to do that Revan fight, spoiler alert, at the end of that. And my Sage, who's my second DVL character, is up to level 32, and that's the one I'm planning on doing copy with, trying not to waste XP,
Yeah,
like you said.
right, right.
But I also want to say we're probably going to, next Tuesday for Mandatory Fun Night, we're going to maybe try and put some groups together to run hard modes so that people can get their hard modes out of the way for DVL, or start to anyway. So I'm looking forward to that.
Excellent.
So yeah, good week. And then we're going to talk about how we spent MFN tonight later on in the guild section of the show. But yeah, how was your week, Max?
Pretty good, pretty good. And you just made me maybe think of something. So I did a little bit more Dark V Light as well. I rolled a Juggernaut, got him up to level in one night, in one evening. I rolled him and went from like level 1 to level 20 or 22 or something. All in one night. That does go quite quickly. I've only got a couple of the pieces, well, all the pieces you can get of that set bonus, and you get the boosts on, and throw in a PvP match when you get above level 10. Make sure to get that in, and check that off the list, and you're to level 20 in no time. But you just reminded me, I need to do for DVL. I haven't run through the
Oh, right.
Conquest, Eternal Championship,
Yeah.
Eternal Championship.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, I would have preferred to do it on my new mercenary, my DVL mercenary, but I can't because I did what you did and I did what I recommended, which I only did Shadow of Revan on the mercenary, and then I skipped Shadow of Revan and went directly to Knights of the Fallen Empire on my consular. I'm going to have to do Eternal Championship on the
Oh, that's right.
consular. Or do a bunch of
So
chapters. How many chapters do you have to do? You have to do up to chapter 9 to do the Eternal Championship in
I
Coffee?
think that's right.
I think so.
I think it's chapter 9. It's at least chapter 9. It's no earlier than that for sure.
Right.
So what other characters are you going to do?
Well, the other ones I'm only going to do to 50, so I'm not going to get into
Yeah.
Knights of the Fallen
Yeah.
Empire
Good point.
regardless. Although we do need we're going to start in on those hard modes quite a bit more. I haven't done many of the hard modes yet. I may take that Juggernaut to 65 so it can tank hard modes because we're short on tanks for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also did, just because I was goofing around, and I did it on my character that was already 65. I was looking at the list. I hadn't checked even off all of the non-hard mode flashpoints. So I figured, maybe I'll go try to solo one. There's a solo mode of Battle of Ilum and False Emperor, and I didn't realize that. They are sort of part of the story as you go on. So you do get the solo mode version of them with the magic robot who comes and helps you. So there are quite a few. I was counting them up in my head as we were going. There's, of the low level ones, there's 3 on each faction. There's the Black Talon, the boarding party, and something on the Imperial, and then there's 3 on the Republic that match. Then you've got these 2 later on, the Battle of Ilum and False Emperor. Then you've got Oh, you've got Foundry, which you can do. Oh, that's part of those first three. And then you got the four from Shadow of Revan as soon as you get up to 55, I guess 50, 54, 53, that you could start those. So there's a bunch of those solo flashpoints, and I think everyone's found that the flashpoints, even if you're going solo, is one of the best ways to get experience quickly if you're just trying to level quickly. The
Hmm.
the whole
Yeah,
time
I've
you're
heard that too.
yeah, the whole time you're doing it, you're killing mobs that are strongs and elites, and they give a ton of experience in and of themselves, and then you're completing the quest for going through the whole thing, and that gives you a ton of experience too. So that is what I was doing, including what we did hard mode Scum and Villainy on our little ops night and got through most
Yes, we
of
did.
that. That was pretty cool. Did some textbook fights there. Um, and looking I like that operation.
Yeah, I like Scum and Villainy too. I wish it was, well, I wish we had, that we could save lockout so that we could do the second half. We always do the first half, but even on MFN, we never. It would be nice to go back and do the second half sometime.
Exactly. It would. We don't do multiple nights a week anymore since we're sort of in multiple groups instead and doing our guild night and that kind of thing. So it would be nice to be able to have a lockout saved so we could go back to it the following week. Then we'd be finishing off more of these hard mode operations, which we don't ever seem to finish in the hour 45 or 2 hours that we're running on our one ops night.
So, I mean, the last thing we wished for on the show was to have the decimal point value for dark v light on that little slider. So maybe next week there'll be a ops lockout.
There we go. We wished for it. You hear us? Hear us, BioWare? This is our wish this week. But speaking of dark relight, let's talk about that in the news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
We were debating before the show. I don't know if it exactly changed, but I thought it changed. Now it says 51.6 dark, no 51.6 light, 48.4 dark on
Yeah.
the Dark V Light page on the official SWTOR website. I think it was 51.7, 48.3 a week ago. So I think it is changing, and I'm glad they have that decimal point in there so that we can see it changing, even if it's just that little bit. That excites me. Go light side. Go team light. Other than that, keep in mind that in 10 days we're getting chapter 16, and that will be the point at which we will see our first round of people hitting the legendary achievement for Dark V Light.
Right.
I know we have at least one person in our guild that has done everything except chapter 16. So all the hard modes and all of the achievements for everything except ticking off that box for chapter 16. So
I mean, early access for chapter 16 will be the 9th, right? So 7 days from now for that.
thank you for updating the notes there, Seema, to 51.6 light and 48.4 dork. Turn to the dork side of the force. You knob.
I'm glad you noticed.
What else is in the news? Lots of news.
So, Conquest is bugged this week. In other words, the event basically is not running at all. There's some aspects that are running. You do get Conquest credit for doing various things, but obviously you won't get the multipliers for having invaded any planet since nothing can be invaded. And if you look in the UI for Conquest, it says the event isn't even running. So I'm not exactly sure if rewards would even be issued. So I would, if it were me, well, it is me. I'm not going to pull out any stops to try and reach my personal target this week.
Right. Although we did see
Additionally,
ourselves getting points against that personal
yeah,
target as we were killing Snowblind
right.
and
But you know what? I don't think we were even getting stronghold bonuses on it. I think it was just the base.
mhm, very,
I don't know.
very
I'd
possible.
have to verify that. But also, priority hard mode ops is also bugged in that it's not showing up. I don't know to what extent because we haven't tried it. But I mean, possibly if you were to run Terra from Beyond, you would get the priority. drops, but I don't know for sure. But
Interesting.
anyway, it's definitely not showing up.
Interesting. So,
And in our pub ship, our flagship on the pub site is still missing. It was gone last week and it's gone this week.
some obviously they're working on something because they're breaking things along the way. Maybe there's something good coming as a result of all this. That's what I will choose to believe.
Yes.
We will potentially hear more about all of these things that are blowing up in the producer live stream next week. So on August 11th, we'll have a producer live stream. One thing in particular that they called out that they will be talking about in the producer live stream is PvP Season 7 information in general, and specifically the announcement of what the rewards will be for PvC 7 information, for PvP Season
Actually,
7.
you mentioned they might talk about this. I forgot to mention that Eric Musco did post and say that the conquest being bugged and the priority hard mode being bugged, they're looking for it to be fixed in 4.7. So it's not like it's gonna be fixed this week. So I wouldn't wake up every day checking to see if you can rush out and do conquest
Wake up every
if you were going
day.
to.
I'm still going to check every hour.
I'm still gonna wake
Maybe
up
now.
every
Maybe
day.
now.
Well, most days. Also, there was a news item this week that BioWare is closing the forums for all their legacy games. So the only forums that they're leaving in place are the SWTOR forums, which is a pretty interesting move. They said in their blog post announcing it, and these would be the forums for all the Dragon Age games and all the Mass Effect games. And they basically said that it wasn't as useful of a tool as some other tools that come to be, that they found that devs were reading Reddit and watching Imgur and Tumblrs and stuff and Twitter and Facebook more than they were watching the forums, and that they felt that the community, that's where the bulk of the community was, and that the forums were, so they're not gonna do the forums anymore except when they are running betas and stuff. Then they'll have a forum for people to give feedback on beta versions of their games.
That's
Obviously,
interesting.
SWTOR is a different case because we're an ongoing game. These are all games that, are in the can, have been sold, they're out there. They're even though they do have still have a community, the games are in history.
Yeah, we even talked about trying to turn this into a whole segment. Just the the
Yeah,
future of communications from dev teams and producers, game producers to their
yeah.
communities. The
I
downside
mean,
to
our
this,
forum's really the best way anyway.
and maybe they're not, but the downside that I see to this is forums provided an opportunity, if they used them correctly, to be at least the single source of truth. What they're talking about now in terms of, well, we have Instagram and we have Twitter. We tweet some things out and then we post some things on Instagram and we do a blog post once in a while. So the way it's gonna turn out, and I'm glad they're not doing it for Star Wars at this point, because we rely on the news of where our game is going because we're continually getting new content and updates. We need to sort of track that as players just to adjust. If there was no source of truth and I have to go to Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all these places every single day to find wherever the news happens to be going today, that would drive me crazy. So,
Yeah, I mean, but Smoke in chat brings up a good point. A lot of people not only don't read the forums, they avoid them because it's sometimes an unpleasant experience.
true. I most often, more than anything else, which we get a lot of value out of even for the show, is just go to the dev tracker. At least then
Yeah.
I'm seeing what the developers and what the community managers are posting specifically. And
But if what BioWare is proposing that they do is something like DevTracker, but the forums isn't the vehicle for that, that would be fine too, as long as they
yes,
actually do it, that there is, like you say, some single point of true.
yeah, some consolidated single point of truth that we can always refer to and go back on and look at the history of, then it's fine. So we'll see. We also
Like we find even having the forums, that sometimes we hear news from the forums, sometimes from the community blog, and sometimes from the blog. So I mean, even within SWTOR area of BioWare, I wish we had one source that we could check and it would just have all the new news.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Also in the news from the dev tracker, they did put a note about Depths of Manon being continuing to be bugged, and this refers specifically to the achievement you need to complete it for legendary, and a couple ways you need to complete that. You need to hit it a couple times. The key issue with Depths of Manon is that as you fight the last boss, you need to ensure that you get the killing blow on the boss for it to check off the achievement. If the environment, which is you've got that fire that's coming down that fire circle when you're fighting that cyborg thing at the end, if the fire kills it,
Right.
then you don't get credit. So there is a tiny bit of a workaround. It's a little bit of a pain, and they said their target to fix it is 4.7. So you're gonna have to keep an eye out for that and check if it does get fixed then, or if they've got some other update that you're gonna need to wait for. Otherwise, try to run it a couple times and try to get that killing blow in.
Good news though, Gus Tano is confirmed for next week when we get Chapter 16. So he'll be up to his new shenanigans again.
Yes, yay, Gus. He'll potentially be wielding a lightsaber from what we saw in the preview art as well, which would be interesting. Hopefully he
Well,
won't
I mean, he is a Jedi after all.
hurt himself with it.
Yeah, hurt himself with it.
We also got a bit of news, and this was published somewhere else in one of their blog posts or something, and not in the dev tracker in the forums. So that's a little bit
Right.
of a problem for me. My whole single source of truth, consolidated list idea, get it in the forums, BioWare. Anyway, the SWTOR 5th anniversary cartel market sale is starting. And it's okay, so here I'll explain it, and then I'll tell you why it's not very interesting.
We'll spend a lot of time on it.
So every week, so they say it really weird. Every week something for 55% off. And I think they mean every week that the sale is going on, which will be 1 week out of each month, and it's going to run for 5 months. So for 5 months, there'll be 1 week out of the month where there'll be a single item within that week that will be on sale for 55% off. The first one of these weeks will be August 2nd through August 9th, and the Zakul dropship will be 55% off. Happy anniversary! So, so they're not telling us what subsequent months will be. I'm not feeling the love on this one. So 1 week out of the month, if you happen to log on and check out the cartel market during that 1 week out of the month for the next 5 months, a single item in the whole cartel market is going to be on sale for 55 for half off. And
Because 5.
because 5 apparently 5 items over 5 months for 55% off. I don't know, whatever. I think there's just an excuse for them to write 5 lots of times in a post, because is anybody even going to care about this at all? There's maybe if the one item out of the 5 items that you happen to be looking for that is interesting enough for it to go on sale for 50% off, I guess that's interesting. Otherwise, whatever. I'm not all that interested.
But there's a number of there's a number of things that are 50% off now. Notably, there's
Yeah, they have sales all the time.
Yeah, right. So it's if it was 5% of the normal price, that would be a 5.
Right, and that would be interesting,
And that would be a nice
fun, and that
little-
would be a happy anniversary. It's
Yeah.
like here, practically free. These cool items are going to show up in the cartel market at 5%. 5% of their original price, but half off, like all the other random things that we put on sale from week to week. That doesn't seem like that big a bonus to me. Anyways, in guild and
But
community.
if you were thinking about buying a character slot, they are on sale right now.
Yes, which
Too.
I may, because I'm having trouble thinking about deleting these characters I'm putting time into for DVL. So I may need a couple more character slots before we're done. In guild and community news, We have a big week this week for our guild, Alea Iacta Est, and this is across all of our games. Mostly, the most events are going on in WoW, in World of Warcraft, and in Star Wars: The Old Republic. But there are also little mini events going on. I know there are some people in Star Trek Online that were doing some things this week, and I know they were going to try to have an event in Lord of the Rings, and I bet our Eve teams is doing something. We call this the week in the summer is called Summer of Love, and they have just we just have a bunch of guild events throughout the week, and it's usually kicked off by an event, an annual day that's always August 2nd, and it's called Remembrance Day. This was established quite a number of years ago, almost 10 years ago now, and this continues to be one of the most important guild events that we hold every year, and everyone gets together in game across our various games in our voice chat, and the event was initiated to honor a guy named Bruce Galloway, who was a member of AIE who passed away on August 2nd, 2007. He was an amazing guildie. He was an amazing friend, a fan of everyone, and a great guy to know and have around. And it really touched everyone to lose him out of our community. And throughout the years, we've continued to lose people out of the hundreds of people that are in Alea Iacta Est across our games. So it provides us an opportunity to hold a relatively serious in-game vigil where we sort of call out, who's missing and who's lost, and pay a little tribute and have a moment of silence. And then we have a little bit of in-game guild slow walk to some of the central points of each of the games, and follow it up with some fireworks and some talking in guild chat. And it really I continue to enjoy that, and I hear from people relatively often that this is a thing that sort of sets AIE apart. So good job tonight, guys. It was a good event as always. We had a ton of people. I think I've got some pictures here. We had a ton of people in AIE who were in the representing Star Wars in the Star Wars event. We had about 25 people where we gather on Alderaan in the Jurin Mountains, overlooking the mountains to pay tribute that way, and it really worked out well. Do you have any comments on that, Seema?
It's nice to hear everybody's stories about people that through the years have made a difference to them. Yeah, I like it when they talk about that.
Yeah, excellent. Let's see what else. So to finish off our Summer of Love, what are we doing in Star Wars, Seema?
Well, after Remembrance Day, that part of it, we went and killed world bosses on Hoth because, killing things is what we do. But we're also following up with a guild party on Saturday, where we're going to have stronghold tours, and we're going to Max found a tool that will allow everyone to vote. It's like a slider, so you can give everyone, a value of 1 to 10, and then we'll have the winning strongholds, the top couple of them will get prizes. We're also going to have a costume contest. So bring your best costume. And if we have time, we'll do a worst costume party as well. In fact, you can bring your worst costume and we can model them. We may run out of time for an actual contest, though. But we'll also be in Plug DJ for music. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Plug DJ is back online. We had switched over to dubtrack.fm, I think it is, for a while. Plug DJ, from what I understand, was bought up by an investment company that turned the lights back on. We've been checking it out. It could go away again, who knows? But we're going to be using Plug DJ and playing Star Wars themed songs all night for our guild party as well. So we'll be there 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central on Saturday, this coming Saturday. And if you are in AIE, you are certainly welcome. If you are not in AIE, we can fix that for you. And how would we do that?
I'm sure we'll end up playing It's All About That Bass like 100 times.
Yes, no rebels, all about that bass. So if someone was looking to get into AIE and get in on some of this party action, Seema.
Oh, yes, I do. I know how. If you would like to join AIE, we're on Jedi Covenant. just come and join a channel called AIE LFO and say hi, and one of the officers will get you an invite. The best time of day to do this is in the evenings, and usually there's more people on the imp side. So even if you want to play on the pub side, you might want to come over to the imp side, increase your chances of finding somebody. Also, if you want to know more about the guild in general, especially the guild and other games, you can check out guild info, which is at aie-guild.org.
Absolutely. Excellent. Yes, certainly. Come join AIE. It's a blast. As we said, we're doing a lot of fun things. And with that, we can talk a little bit more in detail about a new addition to the game, which is changing it up a little bit for us in the near future. Not a lot, but I haven't played this in a while, so I'm going to play this.
Game changer.
Game changer. Game changer?
Game changer for
Game changer for the industry.
It's not a huge game changer, but because I haven't played that in a while, I figured I'd play that drop in. But this, what we're talking about, of course, is the new pack opening experience. So this showed up today, and we thought it was interesting enough to drill in and talk about for a bit in a number of ways. I think we have a handful of interesting aspects to talk about. So we'll go through in general what the feature is and why they put it in. It comes sort of in three parts, which they seem to have done a really good job on. And then we'll go through a little bit of what the feedback is on it so far. And I also want to just spend time on how beautiful of a blog post that they put together for this thing. Man,
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
they really did a good job on the blog post and sort of
I know. I feel like I
publishing
already
it.
know this ability. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is it, Seema? Why don't you tell us what the three parts are? And
So basically, what it is, it's a UI for cartel packs, and the DVL packs, if you have not opened them yet, will also count as a pack with counting for this. So basically, it's a way of storing the packs and opening them up in the UI without having to take up the room in your inventory that they did previously. So that's it at kind of a high level. It has like a nice, when you open up the pack viewer, it'll display on the left all the packs that your character currently has. It'll show the pack by the icon and the name and how many of each pack you have. It won't display hyper crates. If you have a hyper crate, you have to actually open the hyper crate and take the packs out for them to show up in this interface. But the individual cartel packs will now stack. They not only stack in this UI, but they also stack in your inventory, which is, I don't know any other game where you can stack containers really.
yeah.
Containers that have stuff in them. So that is kind of different.
So they don't come out of your inventory. So they can stay in your, I think they can stay in your cargo hold or your inventory, and then they show
Yeah,
up in this,
I
in
said
this
that wrong.
list.
Yeah.
So they stay there. They don't come out, but they go in this list just to make it easier to see what you've got in, what you got your hands on and what you can then start opening. And then you can open them. Well, then that's step two, the opening experience. So what's the opening experience, Seema?
Well, you can click on each item to reveal it, or you can reveal them all at once. I guess that means you can click on the crate, or you can click on an item inside the crate. You can go right to the next pack if you wanted to, or you could exit pack opening altogether.
Yeah. So
But
yeah.
oh, go ahead.
They created an animated GIF, so if you want to see exactly what it looks like, and I think this is one of the best parts
Yeah.
of the blog post. They show you click on the pack, and then you get this really you're going to get this nice little fancy UI, which I think it sort of increases the drama of opening a pack a little bit more. Then you can like hit the reveal all for the 4 things that showed up out of the pack, or you can click on each one individually and see the things you got in big icons all the way across the screen. So that's cool. I think it makes it a little more,
I like that. I don't want to take away from it, but I don't think it increases the drama because I think it decreases the drama because you're not actually doing it in the game.
I think, well,
You're the only one seeing it.
but it's better than I click on a pack and a bunch of junk dumps into my bag, and I have to like hover over and figure out
Yeah,
what
it's
even
far
happened.
better. To me, the drama of the cart opening is when the thing kind of falls out of the sky and lands on the ground and makes a noise and it opens up
And
and
each
everyone
pack
knows
did
you're
have
opening up a
it
crate.
had its own sort of like little animation too, as each new pack got created and added to the game. I think though this a lot of games sort of open packs this way, where it's got its own
Hmm.
interface and it shows it
Yeah.
shows it real big, and so I see where they're going with that. But there
No,
is
I like this. Yeah.
you can click reveal all and open them all at once. You can click on each thing and open it, and then you can either close that or you just click on the next thing to open the next pack right away. You can click on the next pack button and just keep going through all your packs that way. So it won't slow
But
things
wait,
down.
there's more.
But then then the next thing is all that stuff that you're getting out of those packs doesn't just dump off in your bag anymore. So tell me about my
No.
stash. My stash, Seema. Hands off
So
my
when you
stash.
actually remove stuff from the crate, it goes into this area called the item stash, which can hold up to 250 unique items. And basically, like for instance, if you get a piece of armor, it's going to go into this stash, and any of your characters in your legacy can retrieve it from that stash.
Yes. That's important.
So,
Anyone in your legacy can now get this shared legacy stash and go in there and get one of those items out.
right. And the items themselves stack. That's why they say 250 unique items. So if you get three Defiant vented lightsabers, for instance,
Which you
they
never
still
will.
will only take up one slot in your stash.
You'll
You
get
might. Could happen.
three bracers of the ugly jackass is what you'll get, and no vented lightsabers. But still,
Um, they have the typical, you'll be able to sort them and filter them by the sort of typical things. Although they are saying you can filter them by type, such as armor, mount, etc. But the sorting is by the normal name. Name. That's good. Quality, rarity, quantity, or new. So, like if you've added something recently to your stash, it'll show up as new. If you have multiple of a unique item in your stash, you can obviously claim one of them or the entire stack. But like if you have those three lightsabers, you may want to only claim one of them. The timer is still there, and as I understand it, the timer would start once you claim it onto that character. Then it would have
right.
the timer where it's soul bound before you can sell it if you wanted to sell it.
Right. They seem to say that the timer starts after you claim it, not as it's sitting in your stash. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. The key
I mean,
thing here,
I totally like I've bought a hyper crate on occasion, like one or two times,
yeah,
and it was a giant impact on my inventory because I just didn't have the space. I didn't realize how much space it was going to take. And so I ended up having to mail a bunch of stuff off. And I think at one point I even created a character so I could have a cargo hold for that stuff to go into. It's probably still there, actually.
exactly. It's a huge mess. Especially for the people that were opening a hyper crate to maybe save some of the items or maybe try to sell a couple of the items, and while you're keeping some other ones, then you've got just an inventory mess to deal with. So this will be nice to keep them all in the stash. The deal with, especially with DVL packs, is quite important to realize, which is this fixes the initial issue that we had with Dark V Light packs, where you were getting a cool item out of one of those packs and it was getting bound to this character which you potentially would not be playing too much in the future.
And
So
they were so coy about that. When they were talking about it in the last producer live stream, they were saying, we're looking into a solution for that. And then this whole new UI feature shows up.
right. So if you've got DVL packs that you haven't opened, don't open them. I think you'll want to take advantage of this. A lot of people are going to be getting a lot more of the DVL packs starting next week. So all of those packs will go through this interface and things will all end up in your stash then. And if you get that cool black die that you wanted, you'll be able to use your stash to put it on whatever character you specifically want,
I think
which
it
is
is
nice.
very unfortunate for people who have already opened their packs and do have that black die on their one of their four characters that they were going to throw away. But
I believe in the dev tracker they said that this does not impact those things that you already have opened.
no, they did say that.
They said
It's
that
if you
specifically.
have already opened it, yeah, you can't put something into the stash once you've taken it out. And if you've opened a pack, then it won't you won't be able to insert items back into the stash and turn them into BOA.
Right. So that's the feature. So not a huge thing. It's mostly for people that buy a bunch of cartel packs. It's for any of us that get the DVL, the special DVL packs. But the couple interesting things that we sort of wanted to throw, to throw around a little bit was they created this interface and this feature, and I think they did. I say they did a really nice job. They put some work into this. They put some design thought into it. They put design work into it. They put some development work into it. The opening animation is a whole sort of like new little thing. It's not just repurposing something they already had.
Right.
It's
It's very attractive.
it's
Um,
yeah. So great. There are people that are suggesting that, hey, it would be really cool if they put this kind of effort into some of the other in-game systems that are already out there. And I sort of agree. This is beautiful. I'd love to see the GTN interface revamped with this much thought and graphical, updates and usability and that kind of thing. That would be nice to have. Or just the sorting of the way my cargo hold works and organization of my cargo hold. Wow, that if I had sort of this list interface for everything in my cargo hold, and I could sort and filter and all of that kind of thing, my legacy cargo hold, that might be interesting too. So
yeah, I mean, if they even did something similar to how the collections interface is now, where you can, once you get kind of close to an item, then you can put in a search. That would be awesome for cargo as well.
so I was hearing
Just a
you talk
search.
about the kind of things you can search and filter on and like new items, and I'm like, oh wow, that would be really nice if I could just, have search in the GTN work at all. like
Well, and, something that I haven't really complained
not
about for a
terrible, but
long time, but still happens, is when I look in my inventory, some items in it are randomly darkened, like, like I can't use them, right? But I can use them. Like one of them is spiced Eric tongue. There's no reason why I can't use that.
right.
So, I mean, just weird stuff like that where the UI just has never seemed to really, I mean, that's been going on since day one.
You like that
Just
spicy
that the
Eric
UI has
Jorgen
never
tongue?
seemed to be,
Is that what you're saying?
yes, yes,
Is
the Eric Jorgen tongue.
is sriracha mouth?
Um, yeah. And that's just a UI
Yeah.
issue, which they said even as long ago as the Guild Summit, when it was all different people, they even said, that UI issues are maybe not the highest. They would love to make it better, but it's not their highest priority. And
So
yeah,
I'm not gonna to beat up on them too much for this because I like what they did and I want them to do more. So
yeah,
positive reinforcement,
yeah.
not negative. I will
But
just throw out there
I
real
guess where I
quick.
was going with that is now the way the UI is in collections, and then this is even like a step better than that. You know, maybe they can take the same kind of a like upper layer of configurativeness and put it on our inventory.
I uh, I wouldn't I wouldn't recommend Reddit, the SWTOR subreddit, as being anything other than a wretched hive of scum and villainy. However, I do watch it relatively often. It's a lot of negativity in general, as you would expect to see, because that's everybody forums and that kind of communication mechanism in general is going to be people that have something to say, and people that are sort of you have a
I,
bug on
I mean,
something
I'm
and have
gonna
something to say. So
defend the SWTOR subreddit for a second because if you actually go there with a question,
yes,
I've read many, many threads where people that went there with questions, and lots of people answered in very useful, helpful ways. So,
True story. Yep.
yes, when they respond to BioWare about something they've done, it can get yeah,
Yeah.
pretty salty.
This post, though, was sort of one of the top responses to this new pack opening feature. And even by the end, the person's like, "Don't get me wrong, it's a good change, but here's my list of what it would have been nice for them to fix ahead of that time." And it's like a list of 50 things long. Mortar volley is still broken. The preview's too big. The Sith Inquisitor animation breaks with terrain. Regen animation start, but no regeneration happens. They got like a list of all these 50 things. Was pretty
I mean,
hilarious.
that's right. When you're Sith Inquisitor, that they do that little walk when they're doing their regen thing.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a little lump in the terrain next to you, then that you can't just glide over, then you stop regenning.
That's weird.
So like you can't like start regenning and then turn around and pet the cat or anything because you might not be regenning.
I
It's
always
annoying.
go make a sandwich whenever I'm regenning. Um,
Well, I mean, you got
yeah.
to get an item, right, and just regen a different way.
So yeah, it's a valid point. So I think that was an interesting thing to sort of talk about with this, which was I love the effort. I love the input. I'd love to have it in something more than just the cartel market interface for opening packs. What else? This blog post, beautiful. Where did they? Who is there? They don't have an author on this, do they? The cartel market team. I don't know. Whoever this team is, they must be some of the the slickest people in the company, because not only is the feature really well done, but this blog post is really well done, and this animated GIF.
Yeah.
Whoever decided that they should do this and just sort of show off the feature in detail, that's brilliant. They should
Yeah.
do that more often. Wow, look at this.
It really explains it very well. I mean, I compare it in my mind. Well, yeah, so much happens in my mind, but I compare it to the Dark v Light website.
Yeah,
And I mean, when you first go there, if you knew nothing about the event and what it was supposed to be about, you wouldn't find it out from looking at that because it goes right into what the rewards are. You're like, yeah, okay, here are the rewards, but what am I doing?
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and what's it for?
And maybe they thought people that would entice people, but it's sort of just that. And we've talked about this. They have those little strategy guides for each of those levels in Dark v Light, and they're okay. They have a screenshot and they tell you things, but they don't. I don't know. They're sort of dull and just a couple screenshots. Whereas, yeah, this is pretty sassy. So do more of these. Whoever this is, really great job. Do more.
Yeah.
Keep up the great work.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I've been watching it over and over. Not
I
only do
know
they
it's
show you opening
mesmerizing.
a crate, but yeah, the one further down the page where they're showing you how you can manage the list of stuff in your stash is really cool.
Yeah, yeah, it is. This one though is mesmerizing when the pack opens. It's like
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know
it
why I
is.
keep watching it. I think something different's gonna open each time.
Does it make you want to buy a pack?
No, but my DVL packs I'm gonna be excited to open and using the new interface. So I got that going for me,
I'm gonna buy some
which is
packs.
nice.
I'm gonna buy some packs.
Are you? Are you gonna buy some packs? I have
I'm
not
gonna
bought
pop some.
packs besides
Yes, buy them
for
on the GTN though.
besides for our chat room. That's the only time I buy packs is for our chat room giveaways. Okay, so not a huge game changer, but a little bit of a game changer. A little bit of interesting development work that we see going on the side there. Maybe from a team who isn't responsible for some of the key development of other things like operations. So hopefully they weren't taking off operations to do this. But they did
I
a
was
really good job on
wondering
the
if
feature.
maybe it's a team that floats from game to game within EA, games that have shops and and does their marketing communication. Maybe, yeah. And they already know how to do this very well. Like I got the feeling that GTN, that interface is written by like a database person,
Yeah.
a person who's developing the GTN to begin with, not like a UI design person. But
Yeah.
I'm just making all that up. It's just my speculation.
Right. Right. Exactly. Any other closing comments on this, or I think we're all looking forward to next week and seeing what happens with Chapter 16 and the closing of our initial season of Knights of the Fallen Empire.
Yeah, I am looking forward to the ending of that. This part, I just hope it doesn't end on a cliffhanger.
Yes, that would be terrible. Are you going to hit Legendary as soon as you finish Chapter 16 in Dark
Nope,
Delight?
nope. You know I won't because yeah,
No, you won't.
I have 2 DVL characters so far.
And we got to start doing those hard modes. All right.
We do have some people in the guild that will though. As soon as they can do chapter 16, they'll be done.
We sure do. That's going to be exciting. I can't wait to see that. We'll call it out. Okay, with that, our EPC 154 droid here is ready to head out. Thanks to all of you for joining us on newoverlords.com, iTunes, YouTube, or live on Twitch. Thanks to all of our AIE Guild members who joined us this week for our AIE Guild Remembrance Day. Please come join us on our stream again next Tuesday night on twitch.tv/newoverlords around 10:30 p.m. Central. Please follow us on Twitter at MaxTheGray and at AIESEMA. And come find us on Jedi Covenant and ask us for an AIE Guild invite. And if you do it before Saturday, please come to our guild party on Saturday night at 8 p.m. Central. And with that, we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.